Hey guys, it's Damien again from Marketing Food Online, and this will be the second question. The two-part, I've got a three-part video set tonight, and I'm actually answering three questions from a specific subscriber in regards to labeling, co-packing, and nutritional information, which of course falls in line with the labeling. So this video, really quick, he was actually asking about, he had gone into some of the stores that I had recommended to about 7 or 8 videos back. I talked about 9 different places that you can actually sell food products to that you probably would have never guessed, but they actually do sell snacks and they do sell food products and beverages. So he had actually went into one of these stores, several of these stores actually, and noticed the packaging on them, and they looked very professionally made. They looked, the labeling of the actual product itself in regards to the box or the bag that it was in had the professional labeling imprinted literally on the package. They were not separate labels. So he was asking, if you approach these stores, do they have some type of labeling criteria, or is it best to go in there and you've got a professionally done packaging? So I'm going to explain that to you really, really quick. Okay, number one, as long as you are following the guidelines set up by both pretty much the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, in regards to food labeling, if you follow that criteria, and of course the USDA, depending on the product that you're making, those two government agencies have specific information that must be on your packaging. They do not care how it is actually on the packaging, whether it is a separate label or if it is a completely printed directly onto the packaging product. It doesn't make any difference at all as long as the guidelines are followed and you've got that information that's necessary in regards to nutritional information, ingredient listing, allergen warning, etc., etc. Okay, so the other question was, does it make a difference? Does it look better to have a package that is professionally made by a company, that the logo is printed on the box itself or printed on the bag, as opposed to printing a separate physical label that is then put on the bag or the box? Does it look any different? My own opinion, and this is my opinion, the answer is no. Okay, I have been into Whole Foods, I've been into fresh markets, I've been into some high-end grocery stores, and I've noticed products in there that are selling on their shelves for ridiculous retail price points, and they have nothing fancy on them at all. It is a label that is on a clear, transparent bag. On the front, it has a logo, and then on the back, the nutritional information and all that good stuff, and the barcode. So I've also seen some that go overboard that make these amazing, beautiful packaging that actually has the logo, has the information printed directly on the material that is literally making up the packaging, okay? And the product sits there and doesn't sell. So at the end of the day, does it matter? No. Should you make it look as good as you can, whether you're using labels or not? Of course, of course. Don't get me wrong. You don't want to throw something in a Ziploc bag that you get at Walmart and then put a label on it that you got at Office Depot. That's not what I'm saying. But do you sell more products if it's in a different packaging? No. But does the product packaging have a part to do with getting the attention of the consumer? Of course. That's different. Now, what I mean by that is that when you look at a grocery shelf and you see let me put it this way. Let me get an example. You see an entire shelf of different jams and jellies, right? You've got a whole bunch of jellies. You got grape, you got apricot, strawberry, etc., etc. You got seedless, you got with seeds, all that good stuff. Now, in order for you to stand out in the midst of 30 or 40 different brands and 30 or 40 different flavors, you need to make your product look eye-appealing. That doesn't guarantee a sale. That doesn't guarantee the customer's going to buy it, okay? Because I've seen a lot of products on store shelves. Like I told you before, I worked in retail for nearly 30 years. Okay, sorry about that again. Getting a lot of phone calls tonight. Okay, so really quick, back to what I was saying about the label. So again, it doesn't really matter how the actual labeling is done, as long as the guidelines are followed and you have all the information that's needed. The look of the packaging is a big part. Don't get me wrong, but it doesn't mean that you can go up to, put your product on the shelf next to a Hershey's in this amazing, beautiful packaging, and your product has a label on the front and on the back. And you've got a candy product, it's not going to sell any less than it would a Hershey's chocolate bar or Hershey's candy item, just because of how it's labeled. I have been to, like I said before, when we were in fresh markets, for instance, all over Atlanta, we had 7 stores or 8 stores, fresh market. Our product sat right up next to Haribo gummies, next to Lifesavers. Our brittle was up right sitting next to packaging that looked professionally made, of course, and we sold just as much, if not more, on the weekends that we were there doing our demonstrations. For instance, we would sell out of a lot of our product, and the packaging played a role in it. But don't get discouraged and think that you have to spend or you have to wait until you can amass this huge fortune to have a company manufacture some pretty bag for you. You can still sell your product, and you can still, it's all about really truly at the end of the day, the product itself, okay? The packaging is one part of it, it's one aspect, and when a customer sees that at first, it has to be an eye catcher to get your attention, and that can be achieved with a label. You don't need to have fancy packaging, okay? So, co-packer does not print the label. So this was another part of the question. When you're dealing with a co-packer, and again, I can't answer the questions specifically on every single co-packer because, again, you got to keep in mind, they all run their facilities differently. So it really depends on the one you're communicating with and the one that you're in business with. Ask them about this. He had mentioned, the question that I got was about the labels, and that the co-packer doesn't necessarily offer that service and doesn't really offer the ability to make labels. Okay, finally, I might be able to get through this video. So again, the co-packer didn't specifically make the labels on the premises. Not every co-packer is going to offer that service. So you definitely want to cover that as some of the questions that you need to get answered in regards to the labeling. You got to keep in mind too, when you discuss the idea of your packaging with the co-packer, the quality of the co-packer, listen very closely to what I'm about to say. The quality of the co-packer, if they've been doing this for 20 or 30 years, or they've been doing this for a long time, they're going to pretty much answer all of the questions that you could possibly come up with in regards to what they can do for you, okay? Because co-packers don't stay in business for 20 years, 15, 10 years if they don't know what they're doing. And I know that may sound kind of elemental, it may sound kind of silly, but just keep in mind, they are the ones that bring together your ingredients and create a finished product, package it, ship it, box it, and all of that good stuff. So they're going to know kind of what the questions would be if you're going to sit down at a table or on the phone with them and you're like, hey, you know what, I need to find out, do you do this, do you do that? They're going to either send you information through email or a booklet that says this is what we do from start to finish. If you have any questions, this is probably going to be this question, and here's an answer, here's an answer. So their Q&A, I guess in a sense, is really going to encompass if they know what they're doing. And again, you can check in, you can ask them right off the bat. Before you even get into any detailed information, you say, hey, look, how long have you guys been in business, or how long have you been around? How many companies have you worked for? How many companies have you dealt with? You know, these types of questions. And you're going to know off the bat, hey, we've been in business for 25 years. We've worked with over 150 companies. That's the kind of company who's going to basically present you with 99.9% of the answers of the questions that you're going to ask, okay? So in regards to labeling, they're going to probably cover that. There'd be a good likelihood they're going to tell you, you know what, we do our own in-house labels. You give us your logo, we're going to put that on the package, and we got that. It's all taken care of. So the more thorough that your company that you deal with can be, the better off you are. So just keep that in mind. Many co-packers will offer that. If they don't, many of them will say, look, you can basically send us the labels, or you can send us the packaging. If they're not going to do it where the packaging itself is completely created and done within the packaging unit itself, you can give them and provide them with the labels, and they can put that on there for you. If it's an automated line where you've got product being dropped into a bag that's automated, there's a good likelihood that they're going to require that the packaging, whether it's a box or a bag, is going to be pre-printed, okay? And they're not going to be utilizing stickers or labels. A lot of smaller facilities have a tendency to utilize a lot more manpower, man labor to put products together to finalize them. Maybe it's heat sealing, maybe it's labeling, maybe it's boxing. But either way, you can get your label on there. Just talk to your co-packer. You ask them. If you've got questions, you need to ask them. Don't be afraid to ask. So I do hope that video gives you a heads up on that, and I hope that helped you out and answered your question. Give me a thumbs up. If it did not, just let me know. Give me a thumbs down. I appreciate honest opinion. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next video.